Percival, who was a historian, who
I'm going to tell you something about Samuel Kercheval. Him and Jefferson out smoking corn silk. Kercheval told him, Thomas, I don't know about this country. Might want to start again.
he could.
So I don't have a monitor here, so I really can't see what happens at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point do I pop up? When the music starts and Mr. Announcer comes on?
Yeah.
So they see all the little panic things that I do that I'm still in the process of setting up?
Yes. They see you shuffle about uncomfortably. They see you blow the dust off your headphones. They see you put in like 2 cough drops at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I don't do 2 at the same time. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that. I should probably. Now, these shows are archived, right? So I can go back and watch them.
Yes.
So I could like live this show in real time and then go home and, when I say something to Linda like, hey, did you hear when I did this? And I don't watch it. Well, let's get in front of the TV and watch me do it again for 3 straight hours.
Yes, it's archived just like the audio podcast.
Ah, that's right.
And see, this is the thing that gets the NCAA in trouble. Excuse me. When it goes to court here, is there a clock or not? Greg, we talk about the clock all the time. Mm-hmm. If he began in 2019, the clock should have run out, whether he's played the 4 years or not. And that's part of the argument because some guys go right through the clock, right? TJ Finley, we've mentioned many times on this show. 7th team coming up this year. He's playing for Incarnate Word. He's played 7 seasons at 7 different schools. Now, why hasn't his clock started? Why doesn't he have the 5-year clock? So if you're Aguilar, I get it.
He just bounced him off the ropes. Somebody save this man. Oh, my Lord. Oh. Very nice, very nice. He hit him with everything he didn't want.
Ten seconds remaining.
Going to be a direct snap here.
Snap back. It's Tyler. Tyler fakes the run. He throws. He's got an open man. Pass top 10. 5. End zone. It's a touchdown. Pulled in by Nestor. 3 seconds left.
Are you kidding me with the play call right there by Kevin Whiteman? Again, forget the game-winning field goal. Whiteman says, we're going to try and win this thing right now. The direct snap to Tyler sucked everybody up, and Nestor slips behind. What an unbelievable, gutsy play call, and then perfect execution by these Falcons.
Things aren't always going to be great. And sometimes, you can work really, really hard and it's still not great. You're still not successful. But, if you continue to do it, one way or another, things are going to be, work out. You're going to be successful. And it may not be in the world's eyes, but, God's made us this way. He's blessed us with so many things. And I think that's one of our attributes that we need to have is we're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to work hard. And if it doesn't work out exactly how we want, just keep plugging away because God's got better plans.
Five, 3.
Red 57! Red 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw!
Bill McKenzie kicks a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds
seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
Sportsline for a new week, Monday night. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Wiggs. Greg Hunter is in the studio with us. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm well. We've got a lot to do tonight. Of course, we'll talk a bit about West Virginia and TCU before we move on there to Oklahoma State. And coming up in just a bit, Scott Wright of The Oklahoman. He's the OSU beat writer for The Oklahoman. He'll join us, and we'll get an in-depth preview on Oklahoma State. They're really struggling for wins, having lost 5 in a row. So we'll learn from Scott what's going on there as to why Oklahoma State is struggling to win. We're joined now by Brad Howe, who is, have you guys moved between Texas and Oklahoma yet?
We have, Kyle. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Yeah, we left, got up Sunday and got a little work in, and then we hit the road early afternoon and got here in Stillwater yesterday. So arrived last night and then went over to their practice gym, got some shots up, and then we're back over there this morning with a full practice, and the guys are heading over here in just a little bit to get some shots up inside Gallagher-Iba Arena. So been in Stillwater here for a couple of days now.
All right. So, and it's a 7 o'clock Eastern time tip tomorrow, right?
Yeah, correct. 6 o'clock here.
6 o'clock local. Okay, so West Virginia against Oklahoma State. We'll get your thoughts there, although I guess the big film session's coming up a little bit shortly here, so you'll get a really in-depth look at Oklahoma State. First of all, you've had a day and a half or so to diagnose West Virginia's problems in the loss Saturday at TCU.
Yeah, and I think it was another one of those, just a super disappointing week for West Virginia, obviously losing to Utah at home and then coming on the road against a TCU team that, guys, was just simply no mystery when you were looking at the keys, but then the execution of those keys were the challenge. And first and foremost, you wanted to keep TCU off the line. West Virginia really felt like they could keep them in the half-court offense. They would be in great shape, and they were. We'll get to the defensive performance in just a second. But TCU got to the free throw line. 30% of the Frogs' points came at the line. That was well above what their season average is, and they came out with a 9-point advantage at the free throw line. So that's, I could stop right there if you wanted to. That changed the game in what was a 1 or 2 possession game. But you can keep going further down the list. And the second key was keep them off the offensive glass, because if there was 2 things that this team did, it was get on the offensive glass and get themselves to the free throw line. West Virginia gave up 19 offensive rebounds. That was a 50% rebound rate, meaning TCU grabbed 50% of the available offensive rebounds that were out there, which is just a massive number, such a massive number. It was the highest against West Virginia all season. So if you add up free throws and second chance points, the Frogs came out plus 14. So those are really the 2 things that West Virginia needed to not allow, and they did allow it. And if you want to go into a third key, the third was protect the basketball. Don't turn it over. If you don't turn it over, they felt good that TCU wouldn't get a lot of easy buckets in that way. Instead, you turned it over 16 times, a 27% turnover rate in terms of turning it over on 27% of your possessions. It was the second highest West Virginia had all season. So quite frankly, guys, given that it was those 3 keys and those 3 keys that you struggled in, it's really remarkable that West Virginia had that game in control heading into the final 5 minutes. So ended up just being a really disappointing loss, given how well you defended and how much TCU struggled in the half court, that you couldn't just get a couple more baskets on the offensive end and close the Frogs out.
Yeah, despite all those issues, Brad, as you said, West Virginia still has the lead relatively late, 6-point lead midway through the second half. But all those issues were problems, but then also West Virginia just couldn't score.
Yeah, struggled to make some shots, and, man, they had some open shots. You have another missed dunk. You have Harlan missing a couple layups right at the rim. And then I thought a big one, and they could have changed the flow of the game. We talk so much about how good West Virginia is coming out of timeouts and how great of a job Ross does diagramming great plays. West Virginia's top 3% of all teams nationally in points per possession coming out of a timeout. So those usually end up in buckets. and they almost always end up in good shots, and you got one there late with that corner three from DJ, wide open from the three. And if you'll remember back, guys, it was the same exact play, the same exact execution, and almost the same result in terms of getting you a wide open shot when DJ pounded that down against Cincinnati that helped close out the Bearcats. This one, unfortunately, doesn't go down, and it was one of a handful of shots where you had open looks at the basket and you just couldn't get it to drop.
This is 8 games now, Brad, where this team's been under 30% from 3, 5 for 21 from 3. So that slump continues. 8 games since the 11 or 12 they made against Arizona State. So how do you diagnose that at this point, or is it just, that is what it is?
Yeah, no, I don't think it is what it is, because I still think this team has better shooters than what you're seeing, but I do think you're seeing the effects of one. And let's just take Honor's performance lately. He's really struggled here in the last 5 games or so, and I think that's 2 parts. I think that's number one. Just this part in the season, you're talking about a guy in Honor that plays a ton of minutes, 36 to 38 minutes per game. And, guys, that's a tough 38 minutes. And
he never stops moving.
Never stops moving, but he's getting banged and held and pushed and thrown in there off ball. And I know you can't always see that, especially if you're watching on TV, but I think that ultimately takes a toll. So when you're the number one guy on the scouting report and you're able to manhandle like teams are against him, that affects your ability to have clean, smooth looks and knock them down. So that's been a challenge. And then obviously Trey's the number 2 part of that scouting report. And over the last 10, he's been good. But if you look over the last 5, he struggled from distance as well. So we've seen teams be able to take those 2 guys out. And those are your 2 most reliable shooters. We've seen at times Jasper be able to knock down threes. We've seen Belo at times knock down threes. We've seen DJ at times knock down threes, but neither of those guys, that doesn't fit into their MO to take shots. I do think, guys, it showed up against TCU. I did feel like the guys were a little tentative in terms of shooting the basketball. I thought they passed up some what were good shots, especially in the lane, in order to try and get great shots, and they ultimately ended up into not necessarily better shots or turnovers at that point. So I think just collectively you have a little bit of a confidence issue probably. When you're not making shots, that's easy to bleed over from game to game. So I don't have a great explanation other than you're just at the end of the season when you're tired and the defenses are really focused and honed in on you, and simply saying to West Virginia, we're not going to allow you to beat us from 3. You're going to have to get inside and do it from there.
Brad, I know you haven't gotten into the scout yet or haven't seen it yet with the coaches and gotten their thoughts, but give me a quick analysis of what you think of Oklahoma State. I mean, they're 16-11 now, have lost 5 in a row. It wasn't that long ago that many people had them in the NCAA tournament. All of a sudden now, after this latest streak, they're falling way off the bubble, just 4-10 in the league. But what are your thoughts on tomorrow night's game?
Yeah, we can dive in here because guys, we have multiple film sessions while we're on the road. We've already had a couple, so yeah, we're knee deep in the Cowboy preparation here. I think first and foremost, guys, it's a hard league. It's hard to win in this league, and that's an Oklahoma State team in year 2 under Steve Lutz that's had to rebuild its roster as well. I think the interesting thing on the matchup and the first thing at the top of the card is this is just a complete contrast in styles. Mm-hmm. You're talking about a West Virginia team that's going to control possessions and want to slow it down. Oklahoma State's the exact opposite, 10th when it comes to possessions per game. So start right there. If West Virginia can succeed in making a few shots, and this is where making some baskets is really important, and getting back and setting up your defense is going to be critical. Not turning the ball over, massive against this team that wants to get out and run on you at every opportunity. And they don't necessarily force a high number of turnovers defensively, but man, when they get it, they go fast at the other end, and they won't pass it a lot. Most of these guys, it's one pass, and that thing's going up, and they're looking to fire it. They've got a really talented scorer in Anthony Roy, who led the country in scoring last year at Green Bay. So he's a guy that will fire it from everywhere. He's much better at home, 41% from 3 at home. So he's going to be a factor. And then they can throw it down inside. Parsafala is a really big, talented interior presence at 6'10", so you've got to worry about him as well. From an offensive perspective, this would be a game where you'd like to feel you can get some shots. This is not a team that wants to guard you very long. They're looking to leak out and get the other way. Some offensive rebounds might be available to you. But, again, these places are tough to win on the road, and I know Oklahoma State's struggling. They have lost 5 in a row. They've lost 5 of their last 7, 7 of their last 9. So they've been struggling, but it's certainly not easy to be on the road and pick up a win.
Yeah, this is a team that looks, again, it's completely rebuilt from last year. I don't believe there's anybody that's going to be on the floor tomorrow night that scored in the game last year. They did have one returning starter in Robert Jennings, but he's not playing. So, there's not going to be a player on the floor tomorrow that scored in last year's game. Having said that, this Oklahoma State team seems to be a lot better offensively than the team last year, but not near as good defensively. The last time I said that, though, it was Utah, and they came in and played pretty good defense.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I thought last year's team, West Virginia just completely buried them and took them out of their offense. They weren't able to do anything. This is a little bit different team in that they are more talented offensively, I think, namely because of Roy and Fala that we just talked about and their ability to get out in space. They went out and spent some money in the portal, guys, and they have some individual talent. I think this is just simply about who wants to dig in and can put their style and force their will onto the other opponent. If West Virginia is able to guard, get some misses, and hold them to one shot, I think that's the biggest part of this game, because teams like this generally that want to get up and run so fast, they get super frustrated when you're trying to slow it down to them on both ends. So if they're coming down and firing shots quickly and they're going in, that could be a long night for West Virginia. So to me, I know that's pretty basic, but it comes down to that is how much are you able to force some misses and grab those offensive rebounds and keep them at bay. They're not necessarily a great offensive rebounding team, but West Virginia, and that's what's interesting, guys. If you want to go back to something else, if you look over the last week, West Virginia came into last week as the number 2 team in the Big 12 in defensive rebounding. They just weren't giving up a lot of second shots, and yet Utah comes in and gets 12 offensive rebounds, and then we saw TCU turn around and do it and get 19. So if you want something that West Virginia needs to get back to that it's been very good at, I would say that, defensive rebounding, because if you can force some misses and hold Oklahoma State to one shot, I think that swings big time in West Virginia's favor.
So you were on campus last night. Were you around for the monster wrestling match between Oklahoma State and Iowa State that drove over 12,000 at Gallagher-Iba?
It's really interesting, their facilities here, how they're set up. So when we walked in the kind of the back entrance, of Gallagher-Iba, broke off to the left to go to the practice gym, not more than 15 feet to our right was a side entrance there to Gallagher-Iba. So, guys, I think you know Tony and I well enough to know where we immediately headed, and that was slid over to the right, jumped in that back door, and sat. I wasn't actually seated on the Iowa wrestling bench, but I was about 4 feet behind it. We had a great angle for a good majority of that match, and it was a wow in that building. They were packed out. I think that was one of those, Greg. I don't know that I care the number they announced, because there were more than that in there. I think they were concerned about a fire marshal issue.
Wow.
If they announced how many were in there. It was wild. Light show, smoke show, intense wrestling battle. Kyle, you would have loved it. And Iowa and Oklahoma State going at it. Oklahoma State really dominated the thing. But it was wild and crazy and really interesting. I had 3 different staff members come over. They saw our West Virginia logos, and they said, we commented on how great the atmosphere was and what a neat environment. And all of them to a person said, well, don't worry, it won't be like this for basketball tomorrow. So nobody around here is expecting a big crowd, which is, again, another reason. Can you go on the road? And I know it's really tough. But, man, guys, at TCU, there couldn't have been 4,000 people in that building. It just wasn't a great atmosphere, and you couldn't walk out of there with a win. You'd certainly like to do it here in Stillwater in front of what will not be a capacity wrestling crowd like there was last night.
Yeah, the announced attendance was, I had it here just a second ago, 12,629. That's what's on the box score.
Add more. Add more to that.
All right. Well, Brad, thanks for your input. We appreciate it. Enjoy it. And I guess we'll talk to you Wednesday when you get back.
All right, guys. See you Wednesday.
All right. Very good. Brad Howe there on the road with the Mountaineers in Stillwater. Film coming up at 6:30, then a meal, and then everybody goes to bed, right? And get up and have your shoot around, play the game.
Yep. Should for West Virginia, obviously, just need to find a way to end the 2-game skid that they're on. I mean, you felt a little over a week ago, you felt really good about yourself coming out of Central Florida. And all of a sudden, 2 straight losses. Everybody's down the dumps.
Much, much more on Oklahoma State coming up. We'll check your texts at 304-TALK 304. Scott Wright of The Oklahoman scheduled to join us on the other side of this break. When you choose CityNet, you're choosing a 100% West Virginia-owned internet provider with local support, no call centers, No runaround, just fast, dependable fiber internet backed by people who live and work right here. Plus, new residential customers can get 50% off any internet plan for a year. Visit citynet.net today.
This Valentine's Day, show your household a little love with better internet. CityNet Gig Fiber is built for real life in West Virginia. Streaming, working from home, gaming, and staying connected with the people who matter most. With fast, symmetrical speeds, no contracts, no data caps, and local support available 24/7, CityNet delivers internet you can rely on. And right now, new residential customers can get 50% off any internet plan for 1 full year, with plans starting as low as $25 a month. Check availability at your address. Visit citynet.net today.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
New year, new trucks. Start your year off with a new truck from Dan Cava Toyota World. Now lease a 2025 Tacoma for as low as $299 a month. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. It's your last chance to get a gas model 2025 RAV4. Don't miss out. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kirchhoff. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line on Metro News Television.
Across the state of West Virginia, this is the CityNet statewide sports line for a Monday. We're inside the Health Plan Studios, Kyle Wiggs and Greg Hunter, and we are privileged to be joined by Scott Wright, who's the beat writer for Oklahoma State University for the Oklahoman. And Scott, good evening. Thanks for your time. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the Cowboys here. Things were going really, really well, off to a 12-1 start. And then even you get into league play, back-to-back wins over Utah and BYU, score 99 points, beat BYU. You're 16-6, but haven't won since then. 5 straight losses. What has gone wrong? What's caused the bottom to drop out of this?
Well, you look at the Utah and BYU
wins were absolutely the high point of the season. The problem was that the non-conference schedule was a little bit of fool's gold. They didn't play a real tough schedule. The toughest team they played was Oklahoma, and they lost that one in Oklahoma City. So you came out of non-conference thinking, okay, this team can definitely score. Don't know really much about the defense, and we'll see what they look like when they get into Big 12 play. And it's been a really up and down since then. The defense being the big issue. They can go out and score and keep pace with a lot of teams when their offense is playing well, but defensively they just struggled to find any kind of consistency to slow people down enough to keep themselves in games.
So, Scott, talk about the offense a little bit first for the Cowboys, because you look at the games they've won. I mean, they put up big points, 80-plus, in almost all of those, at least in conference play. So when the offense is good, team is good, is it that simple?
Yes. It's no guarantee that they're going to win again because of the defense, but this offense is so good that it can overcome a lot of their defensive lapses. So, you look at what they've done really in both years of the Steve Lutz era. They're actually 26-0 when they score at least 81 points, which is a pretty impressive stat and tells you how important defense really is to them when they get playing well. But this offense has a lot of weapons. They've got guys all over the floor who can score. You got 2 point guards who they often play together in Jalen Curry and Kanye Clary, and can really play off of each other really well. Give the team a little bit more energy getting down the court quicker because they've got good ball handlers out there. Anthony Roy has been a fantastic outside shooter and really can create pretty well on his own too. And he's a long wing at 6'6". And just a really gifted scorer. And then you got Parsifala in the middle, who's been maybe the biggest surprise out of this team. Obviously, all but 2 guys on this roster are new to Oklahoma State this year, so they're all a little bit of a surprise. But Fala was a guy that felt like, okay, they needed some size, and they went out and got this dude. But he has come in and been really not only the most consistent player on both ends of the floor, but an emotional leader and just kind of a rock that has been their grounding force in a lot of games when they've struggled. So, he's a big dude at 6'10" and kind of an old school big man offensively, but plays some good defense and can help out when guys get beat on the perimeter too.
Just like West Virginia, it's a completely new team. Talking about Oklahoma State, the top 7 scores or transfers. And again, the guys at the top of that list, Roy and Fala, are both seniors. So you bring in a couple of veteran guys, and it seems like they've been worth the money, right? Roy and Fala leading the way.
Yeah, they absolutely have. Anthony Roy was a fascinating guy. He's a guy that's bounced around. This is his 6th school in 6 years. Had a couple of different junior college stops. He was actually playing not too far south of Stillwater at a NAIA school called Langston University 2 years ago. Helped them to the NAIA title game 2 seasons ago, and was a really good player there. And then Doug Gottlieb spotted him there when he got into coaching at Green Bay. Took him to Green Bay for a year. Roy was averaging 25 a game through the first 11 or 12 games and broke his ankle and didn't get to finish the year. And then Gottlieb actually helped him land at Oklahoma State, obviously being the former Cowboy point guard. So, so a very interesting story with him. And Fala is a guy that's just been kind of looking for his opportunity and really found it at Oklahoma State and has just flourished.
Fala looks like an interesting story. I mean, he was on the Iranian national team or junior national team, at least according to his bio. So, he's just, I guess since he got to the United States a couple years ago, sort of new to this level of basketball. Is he picking it up quickly? You said he's one of the big surprises.
Yeah, he absolutely is, and his story is fascinating, and it would take me, we'd have to take a whole hour block out of your show for me to tell you his whole story. He was stuck in Africa for 6 months when he was told it would be a 2-day process for him to get from Iran to Africa to the United States. He ended up being stuck in Africa for 6 months waiting on his visa. Just a whole lot of fascinating stuff about his story. And he is I think because of all the hardships that he's been through, first of all, just growing up in Iran for 18 years is probably a stressful situation that a lot of us couldn't even understand. But then once he got here, he's just a very appreciative guy of all the opportunities that he gets. His faith is very important to him. He's I can't remember if he's engaged or married. I can't remember if they got married yet, but he's met his significant other since he's been here. So a lot about his story is fascinating, and he's really taken advantage of the opportunities that basketball is providing him.
The contrast in styles in this one should be very, very interesting tomorrow night. Obviously, Oklahoma State has improved offensively to the tune of about 10 points per game from last year, and West Virginia is limited offensively and want to slow the game down. So I guess that will determine a lot of this, is kind of who wins that battle in terms of pace tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's absolutely, I think, the key to this, and going to tell us a lot early on about who is really dictating the pace when we see how things are moving early in this game. Because you're absolutely right. Oklahoma State, like I said, defense is a struggle, but they do have good effort from a lot of guys on that end, and they'll try to turn that into some quick, easy buckets on the other end. And if they're getting those things to happen, that's when their offense really starts to flow. So that'll be an important thing to watch early in the game if they're able to make things difficult for West Virginia in the half court and turn that into some easy points. That's a big key to them getting the offense going. So once they do that, start getting some confidence, and the threes start falling from guys like Roy or Victorious Miller, and it becomes a whole different looking team when they're playing that way. And it starts with defense. They've got to get some defense going first.
Scott, we were talking earlier in the show before you came on about the huge crowd that was in Gallagher, Iowa last night for the wrestling match between the Cowboys and Iowa, and what a fantastic crowd that must have been. Any chance there'll be a similar enthusiastic attended crowd in that arena tomorrow night?
It will be an enthusiastic crowd. I don't think they're going to get to. I don't think they're going to quite sell it out the way that the Oklahoma State fan base, wrestling fan base, did yesterday. And I was there. That was an incredible night in Gallagher. It felt like the old Eddie Sutton days when the basketball team was really rolling in that building. But Steve Lutz is building things in the right direction. I think they can maybe get back to that way. But you got to win some more games for that to really happen around basketball. But I do expect a good crowd, because these fans are still bought into this team. They're probably on the backside of the bubble if they're still on it right now. So they're getting down to do or die time, and I think the fans will turn out well. But I don't expect 13,000 in the old barn tomorrow.
We got to get some football thoughts from you too. It's going to be crazy. Spring practice, I'm assuming, starts in the next few weeks or 3 or 4 weeks, and no Mike Gundy. My goodness, Eric Morris takes over, but there's a lot of excitement because, of course, he brought his quarterback with him.
Yeah, there is a ton of excitement around Oklahoma State right now, and it starts with those two guys that you mentioned, Eric Morris and Drew Mestemaker at quarterback, and then, brought Caleb Williams as running back, who's actually an Oklahoma kid. A lot of people are happy to see back in his home state. Wyatt Young at receiver, Ethan Wazlowski at linebacker. A lot of guys that were really critical to that 12-2 North Texas team have made the jump up across the Red River, and that is what got things rolling in the portal. And then the coaching staff went and had just a ton of success behind that with other Power 4 guys or lower level guys that look like they're ready for their opportunity at the Big 12 level. And so, March 9th is the first day of spring practice, and the energy around this Oklahoma State football team, especially considering where it's been the last 2 years when they've gone winless in the Big 12, the energy has just completely flipped on its head.
Got to be odd, though, without Mike Gundy. I mean, I know covering Mountaineers for a long time when Don Nehlen stepped down, and next year, now this is a Rich Rodriguez year, so there was enthusiasm around that. But still, the guy that's been there 20-plus years, it's got to feel odd when he's actually not there any longer.
Yeah, it's really strange. This is my going into my 10th football season. This next season will be my 10th on the OSU beat. But I'm at 20 years at the Oklahoman, and I started at the Oklahoman right around the time of Mike Gundy's first game as head coach. So basically my entire career at this paper has been with Mike Gundy as the Oklahoma State football coach. And so last September when he got fired, it was such a bizarre situation just thinking about Oklahoma State football not having Mike Gundy, because the two have been married together for in just the way you think about Oklahoma State football, you think of Mike Gundy. And it's going to be really strange to see a different head coach. We obviously had the interim coach Doug Meacham last year after Gundy was fired, but it felt like an interim situation. Now you've got the Oklahoma State football head coach is someone who's not Mike Gundy, and it's just going to be a strange sight.
Yeah, and high entertainment value from those of us watching from afar. Mike Gundy, his news conferences every week were tremendous.
That's probably what I'm going to miss more than anything, because he always gave you content. When you're in our position,
yep, that's right.
You get to be very appreciative of somebody who provides you with content, and Mike Gundy always did that. In fact, I had to tune into the coach's film room broadcast of the national championship game just so I could watch Mike talk ball again, and that was phenomenally entertaining too.
Well, Scott, great information. We certainly appreciate your time, and we'll talk again sometime.
Super. Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks very much. Scott Wright there, the Oklahoma State University beat writer for the Oklahoman. And, again, his thoughts on this Oklahoma State team. They've lost 5 in a row and having problems defensively. But, again, just like every team in this league, great talent, great frontline talent.
And some of it very experienced. Like I said, a couple of senior transfers. They've gone out and are have the ability to play really well. But in this league, road victories are difficult. I don't care where it is. I mean, even Oklahoma State's pretty good, very good in Gallagher-Iba Arena. So don't figure this to be easy for West Virginia by any stretch. Our Mountaineers haven't been good enough to overlook anyone, even a team that's lost 5 straight.
We'll check the text line when we return, 304-TALK-304. It is the CityNet statewide sports line from the Health Plan Studios. Since 1979, the Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years. The Health Plan.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan. We are here for you.
Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence. Make plans to join me at the Mountain State's premier fishing, hunting, and outdoor sports show presented by Can-Am, Saturday and Sunday, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. Over 200 vendor booths and 100,000 square feet of everything outdoors, all under one roof. Great prizes, seminars, and kids fish for free in the Academy Sports Trout Pond. It's the 24th annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. A WBRC media event.
Answering a text or phone call while driving. Seems pretty harmless, right? But in the 5 seconds you took your eyes off the road to respond, you missed the girl riding her bike across the street. You missed the dog who darted into the road. And you missed the stop sign. And while it was just a ticket this time, it could have been worse. In fact, more than 700 people are injured in distracted driving crashes each day. Keep yourself and others safe. Don't drive distracted. Just drive. This message was brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
I have had a complicated relationship with food. My job was to talk to heart failure patients about diet and exercise. I felt like, why would you listen to me? Because I was not following a diet that was healthy for me. I needed help. Bariatric surgery at WVU Medicine helped me lose 175 pounds. I feel like I'm free. They hold the skill, they hold the tools, and they're waiting for you to come say that you need the help.
New year, new trucks. Save over $7,500 off on select Tundras or get 2.99% for 72 months. Come experience cars you can count on year after year. Dan Cava, Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Steig Wealth Enhancement Group is now Wealth Enhancement. We believe retirement starts with a plan. Saving for college starts with a plan. Your legacy starts with a plan. Do you have the right plan? Call our team at 304-443-4240 or email steig-info@wealthenhancement.com.
Sitting at Statewide Sportsline, we're in the Health Plan Studios, checking the text line, 304-TALK-304. And texter, the first off the text line, Greg, college basketball question. If Miami of Ohio goes undefeated but loses in the first or second game of the MAC tournament, do they get in the NCAA tournament?
I've heard some debate about this sort of on the national stage, and they're not as highly thought of as you would think for a team that is undefeated. As a matter of fact, is Akron still ahead of them in the net? A lot of the rankings, Akron out of that same league. And the point that they made is the MAC hasn't been a two-bid league. It's only been a one-bid league since 1999. So 27 years now, it's only been a one-bid league. So Miami, which has had a great regular season, isn't assured by any stretch of an NCAA tournament bid if they don't win the MAC.
And the loss, the 76-73 was the score of the regular season game between those two teams. But you're right, Greg. The metrics don't like Akron. Or I'm sorry, they don't like Miami of Ohio as much as they like Akron. So it's probably going to come down. That conference tournament's in Cleveland every year, so it's probably going to come down if those two teams get to the final of the MAC title game, whoever wins.
Yeah, and we pay attention to Akron here.
Right, because of
Sharon Young, obviously a Zip, so having another nice year for them. So, but yeah, I mean, a team that goes through the regular season undefeated still may not get in.
Akron got to the NCAA tournament last year. They won the conference tournament and got to the NCAA tournament, got sent all the way to Seattle for an early round game. Regarding Brad's assertion that Huff and Eagle staff are tired, I don't disagree with that. Why not sit them an extra 4 or 5 minutes if that would improve their shooting? I think Coach Hodge is doing a good job, but maybe mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, a thought. Unfortunately, West Virginia, who else do you have? I mean, if you sit both of them, Chance Moore could come in and certainly has been very, very good in his spots, really, for Eagle staff. But this isn't a team that's got a ton of depth, at least not guys. So, but yeah, I'm not going to dismiss that somehow you probably do have to find a way to get them a few more minutes of rest.
They're basically down to a 7-man rotation with Jenkins playing a couple of minutes per half, or at least once per half he gets in the game.
Thomas and Moore getting the most of those off the bench, so 7.5 probably.
304 Talk 304 texter says, talking about wrestling, I want to congratulate the Parkersburg High School team for advancing 14 wrestlers to the state tournament, just like the old days there. Yes, Parkersburg and Parkersburg South have always been very good in wrestling. The last 2 years, though, it's been University High who's won the state wrestling championship.
Yeah, certainly has supplanted what had been the powers that never seemed to lose state titles.
But the wrestling regionals are in the books, and now we got a week off. The state swim championships were last week. Nothing this week in terms of championships. The state wrestling tournament is next week in Huntington, and then back-to-back weeks for the basketball championships in Charleston. Texter says somehow we have to stop making the worst teams in the league look like the best teams in the league. Playing a little bit down to the competition.
And it certainly was true of Utah.
Mm-hmm.
TCU's certainly not one of the worst teams in the league.
Mountaineer women, they blew out Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's, their women's team came in as the highest scoring team in the Big 12 Conference, and West Virginia just pounded them. Won every quarter handily, the first 3 quarters at least, and won that game going away.
Held Oklahoma State to by far their worst, lowest offensive output of the season. Team that was near the top of the Big 12 in almost every offensive category, from three-point shooting to just outright scoring, and West Virginia held them to season lows in all of those. So really, really good for West Virginia. See who Oklahoma State has? You're a baseball guy. Joe Girardi's daughter.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Is a very good
I didn't
player
realize
for them.
that.
I don't know if he was in attendance at the game, but apparently he goes out to Stillwater a good bit.
I see that now. Lena Girardi played 26 minutes, scored 5 points.
Yeah.
Had 3 steals.
I think that was a low end for her because I think she's normally really good. So your baseball background, you would appreciate Joe Girardi's daughter.
Didn't realize that. Speaking of baseball, Bill Mazeroski passed away over the weekend. Hit the most famous home run, arguably in baseball history, maybe Babe Ruth's called shot, a little bit more famous, but only twice in baseball history has a World Series ended on a walk-off home run. And, of course, Bill Mazeroski did it against the Yankees in 1960. The Pirates winning that World Series in an upset. The 3 games the Yankees won in that series, I think I had read over the weekend, in the 3 games the Yankees won, they outscored the Pirates 38-6.
Yeah, but yet Pittsburgh wins the same series.
Won it in 7 games, and of course the game 7 was 10-9.
Yeah,
after Mazeroski's home run in the bottom of the 9th to win it in walk-off fashion, reached out to try to make contact with Steve Blass, of course the legendary Pirate, and now been part of their broadcast team for decades. Because, the connection, Mazeroski was born in Wheeling.
Yeah.
Grew up in eastern Ohio.
Yeah, other side of the river, but was born in Wheeling. So, and it has been such an icon of the Pittsburgh sports scene for, since his playing days. Pirate fans haven't had a whole lot to cheer for. Certainly Mazeroski was one of those. So, he was 90. What a wonderful life, and certainly was a guy that seemingly was cheerful right up to the end.
8 Gold Gloves, and, of course, hitting that home run. And he and Steve Blass, their careers overlapped for a little bit with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So maybe sometime this week we'll track Steve Blass down and get his thoughts on the great Bill Mazeroski. Mountaineer baseball team won 2 of 3, so a lot of highlights there in that series, Greg, from Liberty from over the weekend, including some impressive pitching again. Chanson Cole pitches into the 6th in Game 1, struck out 7, and allowed just 2 hits. That's the game we were watching Friday, actually, while the show was on the air. And then, West Virginia got the grand slam in that contest from Schoenfeld. And then the Mountaineers got a great pitching game in Game 2. Game 1 of a doubleheader Saturday. They beat Liberty 2-0, and Max Yell threw 4 scoreless innings, struck out 6, allowed just 1 hit, and Ian Korn came in and pitched 3 innings. So good job there. And then Liberty did win the 3rd game of the series, Game 2 of a doubleheader Saturday, 4-1, as West Virginia had 10 hits in that game, but couldn't string it together. And still, though, a 5-1 start for the Mountaineers, very, very good.
Yeah, take that every day. And, of course, going to open the home portion of their season
Wednesday.
Yeah, a little hard to believe with the flurries out there right now and the cold temperatures. But we're supposed to do it tomorrow, but they've pushed that back and actually changed opponents.
So traded
as well.
Ohio University for Canisius, right?
Yeah, or vice versa.
Oh, okay.
Canisius out, Ohio in.
All right.
Instead of Tuesday, it's Wednesday. So bundle up, though I don't think it's supposed to be that bad on Wednesday.
The wind's going to be whipping up there.
Yeah, that can happen anytime when
That's
you're up
true,
there.
but it's 50, 47, 48, 49 degrees with the wind whipping. That's a big difference.
I do want to get – we haven't talked a whole lot about the Olympics. We didn't do it
That's
last
right.
night much either. I want to get your hockey
All
guy.
right.
I want to get your reaction even when we come back.
Yeah, we'll take a break and get into that. Texter does point out, we were talking about the Mountaineer women. They're up 2 spots in the poll this week to number 17. So West Virginia number 17 in the women's basketball poll, creeping up, Greg, on that 16. I know the polls don't mean anything in terms of
their net rankings okay too. I mean, I think they're still very much in the hunt. If it happened today, I don't think they're there. I think they're a 5 seed. You look at all the bracketology, but they're close enough with 2 regular season games left, both of which they should win with Cincinnati, UCF, and then the Big 12 tournament after that. This team has an opportunity to make a push for a regional hosting opportunity.
304 Talk 304 will take a break and return. Stay with us as the CityNet statewide sports line continues after this.
Starting March 10th, Metro News brings you the 2026 West Virginia SSAC High School Basketball Championships presented by Chick-fil-A.
First title for Spring Mills and boys basketball.
The best teams in the state will once again meet at the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center to compete for the title in their respective classes. The girls tournament runs March 10th through 14th. The boys play March 17th through the 21st. Catch all the games on the Metro News Radio Network and at WVMetroNews.com, where you'll also find up-to-the-minute scoring, stats, and brackets, the latest tournament news, and game recaps. Also, you can watch the live HD video streams of the class championships both Saturdays on Metro News Television.
The luck and skill of the Irish, they win the AA championship.
The 2026 West Virginia SSAC State High School Basketball Championships beginning March 10th, presented by Chick-fil-A, exclusively on Metro News, the voice of high school basketball in West Virginia.
Kids are active, and sometimes injuries happen. At WVU Medicine Golisano Children's, our orthopedics team specializes in caring for growing bones, joints, and muscles. From sports injuries and fractures to scoliosis and complex conditions, we provide advanced treatment with a gentle touch because kids deserve care designed just for them. Call 855-WVU-CARE to schedule an evaluation or visit WVUkids.com.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
At the Health Plan, we are here for you, and we have been one of the most trusted carriers for over 40 years. Headquartered right here in West Virginia, providing exceptional health coverage and local customer service.
The health plan, we are here for you.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line
Returns in 2 minutes.
on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Hi, I'm Chris Lawrence. Make plans to join me at the Mountain States premier fishing, hunting, and outdoor sports show presented by Can-Am, Saturday and Sunday, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. Over 200 vendor booths and 100,000 square feet of everything outdoors, all under one roof. Great prizes, seminars, and kids fish for free in the Academy Sports Trout Pond. It's the 24th annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show, March 7th and 8th at Milan Park in Morgantown. Doors open both days at 9 a.m.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
The conversation starts long before the game. Three Guys Before the Game. Join Tony Carini, Brad Howe, and Hoppy Kercheval for Three Guys Before the Game. Metro News Television. Available on mobile, Roku, Fire TV, smart TVs, and online at wvmetronewstv.com.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
Sitting at Statewide Sportsline in the Health Plan Studios, rounding out with some text here and some Olympic talk. Texter says, I was in junior high when Maz hit the home run. I looked the game up on YouTube and watched the entire game. I recommend it. Well, that would be interesting to watch that entire game, because back then, Greg, probably took about an hour and 50 minutes. Although it was a 10-9 game, there was a lot of offense.
As Travis and I were doing the Sunday show last night, I think it was the Pittsburgh, whatever the sports channel was called, it goes through 4,000 different names that we had on here. I saw that they were rebroadcasting that game. And it's cool because, black and white, just old school feel about it. Now, I couldn't watch much, couldn't hear it at all because we're doing the show, but that is one. It'd be fun to go back and watch.
Texter says he has a Herb Brooks story. I'd love to hear your Herb Brooks story. I've got a Herb Brooks story.
Do you?
My mom and dad owned an Ace Hardware,
along
with my uncle. And we went to an Ace convention. This would have been after the Olympics, obviously, probably 80, maybe a year after, early 80s. And Herb Brooks was a spokesman for Stanley Locks.
Really?
Remember Stanley Locks?
Sure.
And he was at an Ace convention we went to in Chicago, and I met him. And I still got he had little mini hockey sticks, and he signed it, Herb Brooks, Olympic gold medal 1980. And there was like two other kids around.
Yeah.
So we stood there and talked to him for a good, I didn't know anything. Again, I was told that story Friday.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old when it was the greatest sports moment of my life.
You were old enough to appreciate the moment, and then meeting the coach of that team.
I still got it. I picked up two, and one he signed and one he didn't, but still I still have that. It's little mini hockey stick with Stanley Locks, and Herb Brooks signed it. Herb Brooks gold medal 1980.
So what you think? You only got a few minutes there, a few seconds. The gold medal match yesterday.
Incredible. I mean, just it's not it's apples and oranges compared to 1980, because those were college kids playing men, the Russians, who would most of those Russian players would soon migrate to the NHL. So it was boys against pros. I mean, the United States, in terms of top end talent, is right there with Canada. I mean, there's a hair's bit of difference. Now, Canada produces more great hockey players, but at the top end, obviously you saw it play out. They're right there in terms of Canada. There's not much difference there, but just an incredible moment. And, it was the all-time greatest hockey thing ever. As a guy gets his teeth knocked out, and he gets up, doesn't miss a shift, and he wins the game, with Jack Hughes. Just incredible. And the way Hellebuck played was otherworldly. His stick behind his back gets a piece of a shot that was going in. So, yeah, it was everything. It was incredible. It was great. So we'll talk more about it tomorrow. Greg, thanks for coming in. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Do it then.
That's the Sitting at Statewide Sportsline, and we're back tomorrow night.
From the Health Plan Studios, the Sitting at Statewide Sportsline is an exclusive production of the Metro News Radio Network. All rights reserved.